Welcome back to another episode of the Steezy Podcast, guys. Joined by my boy Dos.
Hey, mate.
Glad to have you on today.
Glad to be here.
It's a very important one today, guys. We'll be diving into mental health and the stigma that it is, because it needs to be talked about a lot more than it is at the moment, Dos.
Correct. It's very important, actually, to people that are going through it, to people that have been through it, to people that are unaware they're going through it.
Yep, 100%. And if we can, help just one person out from doing this pod, mate, then that'll be great. So hopefully we do help people with talking about it and explaining things and telling our stories and stuff like that. But first off the rank, we got to give our friends at Bilson's a bit of a review.
I won't say no.
And today we have Rainbow Sherbet.
I'm very intrigued by this one. I'm assuming...
Do you think it's going to be sour?
I feel like it's going to be sour, but I don't know whether it's going to taste like those sour straps.
Oh, yes.
Or like sherbet that was in the pouch with the spoons.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Now, if these taste like sour straps, Hixie is going to be one unhappy man, but it's his own fault for not being here.
Not sour straps. It's like the sherbet in the...
His little scooper?
Mm.
All right, let's give it a whirl.
Oh, fuck, that's like liquid sherbet.
Holy smokes.
Fuck, I'm glad I swallowed that this time. Fuck.
It's a bit sour, isn't it?
It is. I feel like Hixie would love this one.
Oh, that hit you like a ton of bricks. Especially following it up after a beer.
Oh, fucking hell, it's one way to wake you up.
It's a burst in your palate, that's for sure.
I feel like I'm going to be drinking water for hours tonight.
It gives off that aftertaste, where you need like...
You just want to keep going back.
But we won't be going back. It's an end of an era for our friends at Bilson's. Unfortunately, we couldn't come to an agreement, but we are on the lookout. If you've got a product and you want it seen,
send it this way.
Send us a DM on our Instagram page, Steezy Podcast, and send us it in, and we'll show it off like we have done for Bilson's for many, many weeks. How many weeks has it been now?
Fuck, it'll be about...
We've done a whole carton, so...
I'd say 3, what do we work out? 7
Maybe 10
different flavours in there. Plus we've done a few extras, so probably 10.
Yeah. 10 good weeks of promotion. And our last one just went off. So, you're getting seen by thousands of people on 2 different platforms. 3 actually. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
I wouldn't mind...
getting heard on Spotify.
Trying to think who I'd love to jump on board and send us...
Even if it's a business. But we do love our products because we can try them on here live. So.
Send us anything.
Yeah, anything at all. Even if you're just trialing it. Or if you're coming out with a beer.
Oh, I'd try that.
They actually just released a beer.
What flavour was it?
Pale ale and something else.
I do love a pale ale. But I know Hixie's a craft beer snob.
It's probably why they didn't want to go with us again. But where all good things come to an end,
something better on the
another
horizon.
door opens.
Yep. So you can come back for more.
So if you love the podcast, or if you're listening and you know someone with a business, tell them to get a hold of us, and we'll talk numbers and get you sponsoring the show. All right, mate. Well, we might as well get into the stigma that is mental health. So we'll just start off with a few alarming stats.
Very alarming, actually.
That are in our society today in Australia. We can only speak on Australia, living here and, being around it. So, 1 in 5 men are experiencing anxiety in their lives today, which is, it's you've got 5 mates, and one of you is.
Yeah, you don't realise how many people that is.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Like,
At the pub with 6 blokes having a beer, there could be 2 of you there. Like,
yeah,
maybe even more. It's crazy.
and I actually reckon, like, as bad as it is, I think that there's probably more than what is portrayed in these.
Well, that's the ones that talk.
Yeah.
What about the ones that don't?
Because a lot of people don't participate in, these forums and like stuff like that.
Yep.
1 in 8 men will experience depression at some point. I myself being one, which is quite alarming, really. Like we said, with a group of 8 mates, one of you has gone through it at some point or is going through it.
Yep.
You may not even know. Yeah, what have you got written down, mate?
Approximately 8.6 Australians die every day by suicide, which fucking adds up pretty quick. And 75% of those are male. So that's where I think they're a lot more inclined to not speak up and get the help, males.
Yeah.
Which leads to then the 75% of the people dying by suicide are males.
Yeah, well, that's what the stats show, that males are half as likely to go seek help and speak about it. Suicide is the leading killer in males under aged 45,
which is
crazy.
You think it'd be a cancer or something, but it's not. It's 54% of people with mental illness do not access any treatment. Over half.
Yep.
Which could be the difference. Seeking help.
Yeah.
Whether it be professional or just loved ones.
Yeah. It doesn't always, I mean, we put a lot of blame and stigma on like people, like males not going to seek help, but it also works the same way with, your mates, asking questions and checking up on your mates and stuff like that, which is another big one. And like one thing I think us males need to start doing is, we rock up and we go, hey mate, how are you? But you only ask once.
Yeah,
and you can just brush it off real easily.
It's like putting your seatbelt on. It's automatic. Yeah. You go, yeah, good mate, you?
Yeah.
And you haven't even thought about it.
Yeah. But it's probably that, extra, nah mate, how are you?
Yeah, how are you really? Yeah.
It's poking the bear as such, and really getting it out of them, because
letting them know that they got to think about the answer and go, well, hang on, deep down, how are you? Yeah,
because like you said, it is autopilot just to go, I'm good, and it's easy just to chuck a Band-Aid on it and just not talk about it, which is what majority of us males do. We're our own worst enemy for it. So yeah, we would like to change that.
We find it hard as males to, and I don't know why it is, but we find it hard to express our feelings and talk about emotions in depth. I think we don't know how to do it, so then that's why people just go, it's easy just to say I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it does come down to like generational stuff. Like, back in the day, it was always like, just harden up, mate. Like,
you're a male.
You're a male.
Bloke.
You have to,
Yeah, she'll be right, but it's not.
You have to sweep it under the rug and keep trucking on.
It's time to move on from that, I think.
Yeah, because that's how we've, pretty much gotten this predicament that we're in now.
Stats don't lie.
Whereas, when you put suicide as the leading killer in males, aged up to 45, that's when it's like
alarming.
Massive. Yeah. It's massive. So, yeah. I haven't told my story to too many people, mate. I don't even know if I've told it to you in depth.
Not in depth.
So this is quite bold of me. So, but hopefully, with me telling my story, helps other people.
Yep.
Come out and talk more and stuff like that. So, I went through a bit of a depression back in. So I went to Europe in 2014 for 2 months. I was in a relationship at the time. I went with my best mate at that time. So I left, was in a good relationship, had everything planned out. So like when I was going to come back, we'd move out, move into a house, stuff like that. So I thought I had my whole life planned out pretty much after this Europe trip. But little did I know, a week in, I received a text message that said that I was no longer in a relationship anymore. So it was, so I got dumped whilst I was in Europe after a week. It kind of, fucked with my emotions a lot.
As it would.
Because, you're on such a high, you're overseas for the first big trip, with your mate. Everything's great and stuff like that. But then you receive news like that. It's not the greatest. So I did my best to, carry on and just enjoy the trip.
Yep, as you do.
As much as I could. I won't lie, to the back end of the trip, I was having sleepless nights and shit like that because it was, such a big thing at the time. And then obviously came back home after those 2 months. And, before I left, I thought I was coming back to all these plans and stuff like that. So it really threw me.
Mm.
So
well, you've got the mindset of coming back to this, and now you're all of a sudden coming back into something completely different.
Yeah, I'm back to pretty much square one, as some would say. And it just put me in a downward spiral, really, going from obviously, you're going off from such a high of, you go overseas traveling and stuff like that. One of the greatest things you can ever do, and don't regret it at all. So then I just came back and got into real bad depression. I was, crying myself to sleep at nights. No one knew about it. It got that bad that the day that I it came out, then I had, I admitted it or whatever. Was driving to mum's work in Wangara there. And I haven't told too many people this, but I was driving there and I was pretty envisioning myself driving my car into a pole on the way there. That's how bad it got.
Mm.
And then so anyway, I got there, got to mum's work and that, and then she could just see it on my face,
knew something was up.
And then she pretty much said those 3 words, she's like, "Are you okay?"
Mm.
And then I just broke down. And
doesn't take much when you're in that at that point.
Yeah, so
tipping point where
So she goes, "Are you okay?" And I just broke down in tears, and I said, "Nah, it wasn't good at all." And the best thing, and from that point forward, the best thing was talking about it.
Mm.
So that's the thing that saved me was just talking to the ones closest to you. So,
what do you think?
Oh fuck, it's hard to say today.
Oh mate, it's
so long ago. I don't deal with that stuff now, but telling the story just takes me back to how I felt, and it was.
And I don't think it will ever get easier.
Nah.
But I think it's massive of you to open up, because the closest people to you and the people listening and watching, they also need to hear this stuff, and for them to realize, well, it is okay to speak up. It is okay to be down.
Yeah.
Do you why do you think? Can you pinpoint why you found it? Why you didn't open up beforehand? Where you crying yourself to sleep, but not telling anyone? Was there? Do you know why, or is it just because you felt like it'll change? Or
well, I wasn't really educated on it that much. I just thought I was just sad a lot of the time.
Mm.
So, and that was also when I was coming back to as I said, I was going to move out, live together, starting my business. That was when I started the handyman business. I was doing all that, so I had so much to look forward to when I came back. But when I came back, I didn't anymore. And the other thing that probably sent me down in the spiral, I'm not blaming her, but I didn't have any closure so I didn't really know what had happened, why, stuff like that. So it probably took a lot longer and took a bigger toll on me because of that. But I mean, it's not weak to speak about it, or it takes balls to speak it. It's harder to speak about it than not
hide it.
So,
especially if no one knows about it, you're not really hiding it. You just
So I don't know why or how people can say it's like it was ever weak to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is where I think it comes down to the generation stuff, as you said. It's you be right, mate. You're a bloke. Toughen up.
Yeah,
and it's
life can be hard.
I look at that and I'm like, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
What do you mean toughen up?
Yeah,
it's tougher talking.
Yeah, it's tougher to speak about it in with your closest mates, let alone on a podcast like this. So
it's good, mate.
I haven't been back to anywhere near that state that I was.
It's good.
And that's because I'm a lot more aware of it now. I've got close mates like you that we speak to daily and stuff like that. Like when we have issues or whatever, we speak about it a lot more openly, which helps a heck of a lot. So yeah, that's one thing that I definitely suggest is getting in close circle and just chatting about it.
It's amazing how
people aren't going to judge you.
No.
You know what I mean?
If they do, you can fuck them off.
Yeah, get them out of your circle if they judge you, because not the type of people that you want around you anyway.
Yeah. And I feel like talking about it with your mates, it can be such a quick conversation sometimes. Yeah. It's all it needs to make someone feel better.
Yeah. Oh, you feel instantly better, like the weight just comes off your shoulders, and because other people know about it now that you're not alone, because that's how you feel. Like that's how I felt. I just felt alone. Couldn't I just used to lock myself in my room and just fucking do nothing and just fucking cry myself to sleep.
You feel like you're a burden to someone else.
Yeah, and that's not an exaggeration about me driving and visualizing me driving into a pole, because that's how bad it was getting, and I'm grateful that it never did get to that stage, but unfortunately it does for some people, which is the sad part. So
some people just don't, and it's quite brutal because it affects so many people once it does happen, and I've never been, as we'll go into shortly, like I've had my own issues, but not to that extent, and not to the extent of suicidal thoughts. So I can't comment on how people with suicidal thoughts are feeling, but it affects so many people, not just the person that it is affecting at the time, but that carries over onto so many people.
Yeah, 100%.
No, that's good, mate. It's good that you're opening up, and I'm glad that you're in a lot better spot now, because, the world's a better place with everyone in it. So,
100%, mate. 100%.
Well, as you know, my story. A lot of people don't. Some people quite close to me don't.
Yeah.
But now, it'll be out there. But the ones that I felt the need to tell knew.
Yeah.
So would have been probably 6 months ago. I've never, up until this point, I always thought I can not comment on mental health because I don't know the feeling. Didn't know how to talk about it. Didn't know anything about it. Never felt it myself. And I was like, oh, it's a thing. And I knew it was a big thing that we needed to change the stigma of. But you never think it's going to happen to you.
No, well, that's the other thing. Like people, like it happens to the people that you really don't expect it to happen to as well.
Yep.
Like I know people I know some people look at me as real confident, and I know some people have thought that I'm arrogant, but it's because they don't know the whole story. So people can portray a certain way, but you really don't know what's happening deep down. So and it's the same with yourself.
Yeah, you don't. I think and that's where I think it's bad to judge.
Yeah,
because you don't know what's going on behind closed doors at home.
100%.
And I'm a culprit for it. I've judged people before, and you look back now and you go, fuck, you don't know what's going on in people's lives.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically 6 months ago I it was a busy year for myself and Laura. We had got kicked out of, well, not kicked out, but our lease was up and wasn't renewed in Feb last year. So we were trying to find a place in a shit market, planning a wedding. I had a new job. There's a lot going on. Laura's back at uni studying. We had a lot going on. And I found myself in initially I didn't know about it, but a rut where I was waking up, going to work, coming home, going to bed, doing the exact same thing every day. No routine. Well, the routine of work, but no other routine. No other hobbies or anything like that, really. No gym. And I found myself not enjoying life, where there wasn't much going on that would, what's the word? Stimulate me, I suppose. Like, it wasn't like little things to look forward to. I wasn't having that.
Yeah.
And without realizing it, it went months and months and months. I can sort of pinpoint about 3 months where I was sort of down. And Laura didn't know, because I didn't really know, so I wasn't going to speak to her about it because I didn't even really know myself.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where one night it just hit tipping point, I suppose.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she wore the brunt of it, which I'm not proud of, but it's a life lesson for me. Luckily, she's the caring type and the puts others first type, where she, and her job that she's in, she understands. It was a wake-up call, though, for me, for her, for us. And, yeah, I did things I regret, as in the way I handled it.
Yeah. Which was just like verbal diarrhea, not.
Yeah, nothing. No.
Just want to clarify that there's no violence whatsoever.
No violence, and nothing in regards to anyone else or anything like that. It was nothing. It was more verbal. Yeah. And yeah, she took the brunt of it, but our relationship took the brunt of it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how, not knowing for 3 months that you're going through such a rut, to within hours of that, realizing that what I've just said is wrong, is completely wrong. And she could have packed up and left, and that could have been the end of us from a massive mistake from my end. But she stuck around to work with me and help me get help, which was massive. And I found it hard to talk even then to loved ones, because I felt like I was letting people down. Yeah. But now I look back, I'm like, if you're letting people down with that, then there's something wrong with them, not you. Yeah. Because they should be there to help your loved ones. And yeah, since that point, we've worked through things majorly, where we've done things differently in our relationship. We've worked together. We've been a lot more open. I have gone and seen people, professionals, spoken to you guys, close family, her family, and everyone has been so supportive that you wouldn't even, I did not expect it. As much as I expect my family to be supportive, but to this extent. And it doesn't take much that once you speak up, you can speak to the right people and they can put the right things in place. It was basically mild depression, but it wasn't severe, where I had suicidal thoughts. And speaking to professionals where they do it day in, day out and help people, it doesn't take much, but they say little things to you and you're like, holy shit, that's so fucking true. Where it kicks you into gear. Yeah. And you go home and you change the way you do things. And now, like, I'm so much happier for it. And that's where I'm like, well, yeah, the amount of people this would be happening to, because I didn't realize at the time. People were like, well, how long is this going on for? I'm like, I didn't fucking know it was happening at the time. Yeah. But now that I look back, 3 months, 4 months. Yeah. And you don't realize. And yeah, so she's been massive, and so has my mates and family. And it's amazing how much 3 sessions with a professional can help to the level where you don't necessarily need to go to get professional help every month for the rest of your life. Yeah. It can be just working through things to help for future and different ways to look at things. And it's mental exercises, I suppose. That's what I was after. I wanted mental exercises to do to change the way I was thinking. And it's just little things like I've deleted a lot of social media now. Yeah. Facebook, Snapchat, because I found myself scrolling through the same shit, and little things like that put you in bad spots. Yeah. We'd sit on the couch at night, we wouldn't talk. We'd be on our phones. I'm like, fuck that. Yeah. Living in the moment.
That's a big one, especially in like relationships.
Yeah. So like little things like going out to down to the beach and going for a walk and like making it, even if you don't want to, just making a plan. The sun, I think we discussed it on here once about the sun being it actually helps you, like being, if it's cloudy and overcast, it puts you in a mood. Yeah. Seasonal depression.
Yeah.
So that's massive. Booking in little dates together. Yeah. Like even if it's just going to the movies or going bowling or going to dinner or getting a drink down the beach, like it doesn't have to be anything much. No. Just something where you're locking in time to yourselves. Otherwise you do get stuck in a routine and you do the same shit and you don't go anywhere. Yeah. So yeah, I mean everyone goes through it to a different extent. It hit me pretty hard for that period, but we've come out better and stronger, and I get exactly the same as you. My thing was talking. Yeah. I could not believe how quickly my mindset changed. Yeah. And how happier I was.
Oh, you instantly feel better. It's just like, even though like you're in a state and when you're opening up like straight away on that first instance, but you instantly feel better.
You can be in tears talking to someone, but you guarantee you feel better after the conversation than you did before.
Yeah. As soon as your tears stop or whatever, it's
a weight off your shoulders. You feel so much lighter.
Oh my God, why didn't I do this earlier? And that's, I'm sure a lot of people that will listen to this can relate to it. So yeah,
I think the biggest thing we can say from both of our experience is please just talk. Yeah. It's not like, I know it's hard, but it is the best thing.
Yeah. Honestly, it is. It is. All right, mate. We'll speak on a few triggers that trigger off mental health issues.
Can be lots of things, eh?
It can be.
It's crazy how
there's a range of them,
and I think some people would have different triggers that wouldn't even be a thought for other people. Like, you'd be shocked. Everyone's different.
Exactly. So one of the big ones is workplace, which can be a trigger for mental health. Being unhappy in the workplace. There's actually like a stat which is over like 70% of men's suicides are work related.
Wow.
Which is quite alarming.
And you know what that comes down to? What we're literally just talking about off the pod. Change. Yeah. And it's a lot of the time easier to just stay put because you're comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally hate going to new companies to meet new people, but it doesn't take long.
You've been through a few.
Yeah, for a few. Trying to find the right one. But like the initial, it's daunting, but after it doesn't take long.
Yeah.
You always find someone that you sort of click with.
Yeah.
But a lot of people can't do that. And that could depend on family life where it's not worth changing their work. So they're like, but that without realizing can take a massive toll.
Yeah. Well, it's like the opposite one for me, like workplace, because I don't really have a workplace because I work like on my own.
So Jake's actually never worked a day in his life. Doesn't have a workplace.
Yeah.
Nah.
Breaking news.
Worked very hard.
No, I don't have a so I don't have like people around me.
Yeah, workplace.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't. So that's probably another thing that I lacked. Maybe when I needed it, but after I've become so much more like resilient and less like taking things with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? So like I used to feel like kind of lonely at work or whatever. Like when you have your mates, you're all like there with like their work crew or whatever, and you don't have that
and
type of thing.
You're just on your own, yeah.
Yeah. You don't have like people to talk to throughout the day or whatever as well. But that can also be a bad thing as well.
Yeah.
For that can be a trigger if someone's self-employed and they're working by themselves.
Yeah.
They don't have that person or that workmate to chat to at Smoko or whatever.
Yeah. Becomes a lonely place.
Yeah, but it can also be a bad spot in the workplace where, we do know workplace bullying does exist. You know what I mean?
Does happen, yeah.
Like we've all had apprentices where we've given them stick.
Some of them I've fucking probably pushed boundaries.
Yeah, or we're all, we can all admit our mistakes.
Yeah, and I've, as I said before about
As we go on.
at the start when we talked about, and I said I've been a culprit for it in the past, and it's like some days you do say things and it's not malicious,
Yeah.
but you don't know how people take it.
Yeah,
And I've gone home before,
especially if they don't know you.
Yeah, and I've gone home before and gone, fuck,
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on in that person's life.
yeah,
And I'm like, shit.
yeah.
But I think that's good though, because once you start recognizing it, it shows that you've sort of got some empathy and some heart.
No, exactly right. Another one is trauma. I can't really speak on this, but I can imagine that, certain traumas can trigger you, to get down on yourself and things like that. I can imagine like issues with birthing and stuff like that. That can really take a toll on your mental health. So that could be one of the triggers.
Without saying too much and giving too much info, some of the stuff that Laura deals with at work is a lot of junior trauma.
So for those that don't know, Laura is
she's a mental health nurse.
Yep.
Here in Perth. So done it for 7 years. So she's seen some stuff and take my hat off to her because I couldn't do it. But yeah, a lot of the people in there have got junior trauma and things like that.
Yeah.
Can lead to, and it doesn't. Can be a range of different things.
Yeah, family issues and stuff like that. Yeah. But relationships is a big one.
Massive.
It's probably very common.
It's probably something you can relate to with that. What sort of triggered your?
Yeah, like breakups and stuff like that. Like I know a lot of people, sometimes they laugh. They laugh breakups off. Like get over it. Just
I don't think you're human though if it doesn't take some kind of toll.
Yeah, like if you're not feeling something, then you obviously weren't fully in it. You know what I mean? So we can act as tough as we want, but deep down we know that your feelings do get hurt, and it can take a toll on your mental health.
Everyone's got feelings, mate. Doesn't matter how big, bad, ugly you are. Another big one is drugs and alcohol. Yes. And some people keep going back to it because they're comfortable, but that keeps being the trigger, and they're both addictive.
It just becomes a spiral.
The addictive personality type person, it can be spiraling. It can be bad.
It can even be like one of those outgoing people that just are always out on the piss every weekend. They may seem like they're having a good time with their mates, but they're just doing it to get over things.
It's a mask.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Which I did it a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think everyone's a culprit.
Walk around, smile, happy, yeah, all good.
Yeah.
No worries. Let's go get pissed so I can forget about it.
Wake up in the morning worse.
Yep. Another one is health. So like, your body image. Stuff mainly. Well, I wouldn't say mainly. I'm not too sure. I luckily haven't had this issue, although I've felt down at certain points, getting to my heaviest and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Can be a bit of a downer. But I think, I don't know what you think, but I think with your health, probably body image may be the biggest trigger.
Probably, I would say.
Mainly more for women, I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, body image is massive because you look at yourself in the mirror, the last thing you do before you leave the house. If you're not happy with yourself, you naturally think that other people are thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And half the time they're fucking not. They don't give a fuck what you look like.
Yeah.
but it's natural. And I think it's such a natural thing where you can't control it. But
and it's gotten a lot worse with all social media and stuff like that.
People get fucking abused for, and it's like, holy shit, that's brutal.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's fucking fucking trolls.
Yeah. But I mean, like, social media in the aspect of, you know, everyone's put on filters, people have edited photos, and, you know, that's all you're seeing every day is like these, you know, models pop up. Bang,
And then you
bang,
see
bang,
in
bang,
person,
bang.
you go, you don't look like Instagram.
Yeah, like, you know, they've got a whole filter on their face. You know, their skin's maybe not as clear as you thought it was. You know, so you can, you know, think bad about yourself because you've seen these, you know, people that seem perfect, and yet in reality they're not.
As you said, that I've never been depressed because of my body image, but right now I'm in my worst shape of my life that I've ever been in, which is about to change.
But you're in one of your happiest states as well.
Yeah, correct. But I mean, in terms of my body image, I've never been this.
If there was one thing that you weren't happy with,
it'd be my body. Yeah, which is why I'm doing something about it.
That's about to change. But that's for another podcast.
Yes, that is for another podcast. Big things happening, but yeah, it can affect people differently.
Yeah,
I think you're right though. Women probably more so than men.
Another one is social isolation. So not so for instance, not knowing where you fit in. You might be in between two friend groups, or you might not have, you know, a big group of friends, or, you know, you don't have many at all. That can be a trigger.
And do you think on the back of that is like the COVID times where you can't see your friends as much?
Yeah.
You can't be out and about with. It's sort of just isolation, I suppose, and that triggered a lot of people, I would say. I would dare say the stats have grown in the last 3 years. Yeah.
Well, I haven't fact checked this, but I'm pretty sure more people died from suicide, like over that period, that they called it a pandemic, than from COVID-19.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It definitely would have been a lot more than the previous years.
Yeah.
Of people dying of suicide.
Yeah. I mean,
we were pretty lucky here.
It even affects, like, you know, if you have a partner and you're not living together, like, you can't. No. Well, you know, legally you're not allowed to.
At the time, yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy times, but we were pretty lucky here where, for my work, I never stopped.
Yeah, neither.
But I know some people overseas, in less fortunate countries that are from there and had to go back to villages and things like that. And it's like, for 2 years and do nothing.
Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine what that would have been like.
And they're still sort of going through it. But yeah, I think it was definitely a big thing.
100%. So we've spoken about stigma quite a bit. The main one is that, you know, men shouldn't talk about. Well, I kind of feel like it's changing now.
It definitely is, but at fucking slow rate.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully with you know, I mean, we are nobodies really, but hopefully with our platform, it can be shared, you know, quite a lot.
As you said, it helps one person. We've achieved what we set out to be.
Yeah.
It's like I love when you see, as bad as it is, seeing people go through shit. Seeing the famous people like the footballers and things like this, the big men that people always think are macho men, come out and talk openly, and it's like, do you think any weaker of them? Nah, no one else does. Yeah. So it fucking ain't weak.
Yeah, exactly. The one that sticks out for me is when Paddy the Baddie got on the mic after his win and, you know,
dedicated that fight to his mate.
Spoke to his mate that actually took his life like a week before his fight, and he had no idea. And as he said, I'd rather you cry on my shoulder than cry at your funeral, which is I remember that big statement.
And I love it because it's so fucking true.
So if you're a man and you're listening to us now,
whether you're one of our mates or not one of our mates, it doesn't matter.
Speak up if you're not feeling well in your in mental state, and get around your mates more.
It doesn't even have to be speaking up to like us or just someone.
Nah.
Someone.
Yeah, you can even message in on the page. Like us boys are always there for a chat anyway. So
Yeah, one of us will reply it pretty quickly, and it can take a 2-minute chat to all of a sudden feel better. You'll be thankful when you've done it.
100%. Things to help with mental health, Dos. What's one for you?
Well, one that I can personally say that's helped me is, doesn't have to be anything major, but little things to look forward to, like little goals.
Yeah.
This week I'm going to do this. This week I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Can be as much as
Setting small goals.
Yeah, small goals. Like locking in something with someone you love, whether it be your mate, your wife, your boyfriend, whatever, girlfriend, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Lock in something with them that you don't normally do. Can be go for a bike ride.
Yep.
But it's something to look forward to. It can be walk the dog, do this, do that. Just something little goals that make you feel better. Getting out and about. Just being stuck in a house fucking sucks.
Yep.
So little things like that help.
Yep. One for me is start a podcast with your mates.
True. Very true.
Because I don't know about you or Hixie, but starting this thing has been like one of the best things ever.
Yeah, you look forward to it, eh?
Like, even though like we don't make any money from this, people, not yet anyway. But even if we didn't, I'd still probably do it
100%.
because it's just like a catch up with your mates, talking shit, and you
caught up more in the last 12 months than we have ever. Like,
yeah, and you feel good about it, every time you leave. So
you always have a good laugh.
Yeah,
doesn't matter what it is. You always walk away going, "Fuck, that was funny."
And just so you know, our podcasts don't go for exactly what you see on YouTube. There's a whole lot of other chat that goes on during.
Can be hours and
before,
hours. And some poor bastard's got to edit.
Yeah, I got to watch it all back. Man, I remember it was like 5 hours at the start.
Yeah, we were, and
like 5 hour clips.
I used to say to Laura, "Oh, we're starting earlier. I reckon I'll be home at this time." And it's like,
I know we used to leave at like 10 p.m. Sometimes, maybe later.
Crazy.
Pitch black, but yeah.
But on that, laughter, that's another one.
Yeah.
Laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah. Get yourself some funny mates.
Yeah.
Another one is that's pretty big is physical exercise.
Yeah, I like this one because I don't look at me, but it's amazing. Amazing how much better you feel after you've been to the gym, gone for a run.
Yeah.
It might be hard getting there and doing it, but once you've done it, holy fuck, you feel better.
That's always the hurdle, isn't it? Getting there, going
That's
there.
what they say. They reckon getting up and doing it is harder than doing it.
You never feel worse after a workout. No. That's one thing I can say.
You might feel sore, but you'll feel better up here.
Yeah. Mentally, you feel like you've accomplished something. One thing back to even like setting small goals, it can be something small as making your bed.
Yeah.
In the morning, bang. You've done something already.
Because I guarantee you get home that night and you go, "Fuck, this is nice getting to a nice made bed."
Yeah. So that's another little small goal setter. Physical exercise is a good one. And that's why I've chosen, originally we had chosen to do the marathon for men's mental health, which I'm now doing the MMA fight because physical exercise is a big thing for mental health. And I will be putting my mental to the test during that training.
It's going to be interesting to see. I'm really interested to see how you go with mental, the physical, everything. And it's going to be unreal to see that. And I'm glad you're doing it for mental health. Why not?
So I could probably announce who I've chosen on here now. Whilst we're speaking about it, I've chosen Beyond Blue to raise money for. As everyone knows, they do great work around Australia for the cause and the issues around mental health. So I'm looking to raise $5,000. That is the goal. Hopefully we kick that in the butt easily over those 20 weeks that I'm training. I will be documenting as much as possible, training, my thoughts after training, recovery, all that. So you'll see firsthand what it's going to be like for the training. So, and even the fight, even before and after, like, you know, you'll see behind the scenes me getting ready for the fight.
Boys
See
will be filming.
boys backstage. You'll be able to watch the fight on stream, or you can come to the Serbian Community Centre and be there in person. And it all goes to a good cause. So physical exercise is a big one.
On the back of that one is, which sort of plays into the same sort of thing, is the healthy eating.
Yes.
Which you'll be doing.
Yeah. Diet. Yeah.
You'll be doing while you're doing your training, and
Yep.
I'll be doing while I start this new fitness thing that I'm doing.
Yep.
But it's something small that you think probably wouldn't change your mental state, but it does.
Yeah. It kind of flows into from like healthy, unhealthy eating, bad body image. You feel like shit because like when you're eating shit food all the time, you actually do feel shit.
But like good quality, healthy food, you
Yeah.
have more energy.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So like you've got more energy to feel happy and to get up and about and do things.
You feel lighter. You don't feel like, oh, like, you know what it's
You
like.
definitely are lighter too if
like
you don't eat.
having a fucking quarter pounder meal or double.
Good on the lips, not on the hips.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know what it's like when after you've eaten one of those, or you have a Zinger box meal and you're just like, oh, I feel like shit now.
I always regret it.
Yeah,
Don't have it for months and I go, I'm going to smash it.
Mm.
Instantly regret it.
I do like a Zinger stacker every now and then, in proportion.
In
people,
moderation, yes.
Yeah.
Take note. We just said healthy eating.
Yes, moderation. But all in all, try to eat healthy. Seeking professional help, you can probably speak on this a little bit more, as it wasn't one of the things I did myself.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the obvious ones.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of the harder ones to do.
It probably comes after speaking to those closest to you.
Yep, definitely. Or for most people.
Yeah.
Some people, they would prefer to
Yeah.
be confidential about it,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Mm.
Doesn't matter who you talk to, just
Yeah.
someone. But
Also for the, if the person doesn't have a big support network,
correct. But yeah,
they would seek professional help.
it's probably one of the harder ones, but the most obvious ones. It's taking that plunge. There can be a wait list. There can be all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think speaking to someone that they know their shit,
Yeah.
and finding someone that you feel comfortable around. Like I've got pretty clicky with this guy straight away, and he was a young guy, interested in sport, interested in all the same stuff.
Yeah.
And we had good. It ended up being just a chat and not therapy. It wasn't therapy anyway, but like it ended up just going there for a chat, and I was like, I walked out going, I really enjoyed that chat.
Yeah. Well, they're not there. They're not there to sit and judge you. Like,
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, trust me, they've seen worse than.
Yeah.
You think you're bad half the time, but you're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've seen a lot worse.
That's another thing is perception that what you're going through, no one else has gone through it before. And, a great saying is, I guarantee you, if you threw your problems if everyone threw their problems out on the table, you'd grab yours and go run back.
100%. Yep. Oh, yes. Love it.
That's a good,
That's
good little saying.
That is very good.
Guarantee if you threw your problems onto a table,
along with everyone else's, you'd
grab yours. Everyone else, you'd grab yours and run back.
Fucking oath you would. But yeah, and people go, oh, the money's an issue with seeking professional help. There's a lot of things out there. Like you go to your GP, you get a referral, and then a lot of it you don't have to pay anyway. Mental health care plans.
Yep.
Where they give you like 10 free or 10 sessions.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, money, who gives a fuck?
You can't put money, you can't put a price on your mental health.
Nah. At the end of the day, if you're 6 feet under, money's not an issue.
Mm.
You're alive.
Yep.
Do something about
There's
it.
There's also like Lifeline.
Yeah,
you can call.
You can call someone, have a chat.
You don't have to physically go to a place or whatever. You can talk to someone over the phone.
They would never know who you are, what you look like, where you're from.
Exactly.
But you will feel better.
Yeah. It's, it's just good to talk to someone about the issues that you're having, and why you're feeling that way. And at the end of this podcast, we'll have a screen at the end with all the places you can go to and call. So if anyone needs, they can use them. Things to help. I would say change of workplace.
Yeah, if that's something that triggers.
If that's the thing that is your trigger, yeah, then
there's jobs everywhere.
Change of scenery can be good for anyone's mental health.
It might be hard to take the plunge, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Fresh start. But
just make sure you line up a job before you leave.
Yes.
Otherwise, I can imagine things could get a lot worse.
Yeah.
The more time you have alone with your thoughts when you're feeling like that is not the best thing to do.
Even if it's managing your workload within the current workplace, if that's what it is. Speaking to someone at your workplace where you can, I don't know, have for a small period, you can have less work.
Yeah, change of shifts. Yeah. Everyone will understand, if you're upfront and honest with them, it's a lot better than just, them thinking that you're not happy there or whatever, So I think we've pretty much hit the nail on the head here, Dos.
Hopefully hopefully it's helped someone.
So the main thing with today is just speaking up.
It ain't weak to speak, and your mates will listen to you.
Yeah.
You'll feel a lot better.
They're not going to think you're a pussy. They're not going to think any less of you. And
if they do, fuck them off and find another mate.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So, the main message today is just to speak up. Speak to your mates if you're not feeling well. Myself and Dos have shared our stories as you've heard. So hopefully that helps people. And
I'll happily listen to anyone.
Yep. You can even DM us privately, have a chat. We've got plenty of mates that, we may not know that they are not coping too well right now. So, if any of our mates are, then we would rather you guys speak up than stay silent.
It's not going to get better on its own.
No, it doesn't get better till you speak. So that's all you got to do. And ask your mates, how are you, about 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm holding up 4 fingers here, but
3 plus the 1, the original.
Yeah. Make sure you ask them many a times because, as we said earlier on the pod, most of us just autopilot, say we're good.
Yep.
When we do have things bothering us. So
that was one thing that the professional I spoke to was big on.
Yeah.
Asking, as you said at the start, instead of how are you, it's, but how are you actually?
Yeah.
Like, what are you actually feeling right now? And then it makes them think.
Yeah. And that can be the trigger, like, for them to open up, after passing by on the normal, how are you?
Yeah. And if you didn't ask it, they wouldn't have opened up. So,
yeah. So make sure you ask your mates, are you okay? Are you okay? Really?
That are you okay day needs to change to every day.
Yeah.
Because you know what? People do it and they start taking the piss on the day.
Yeah. Every week. It only gets shared on one day of the week, of the year.
Yeah. Should be once a week, twice a week, 3 times, 7 days a week.
Yeah. Well, we might make our own thing that we post up. But yeah, if you've enjoyed the pod and got a bit out of it, guys, make sure to like and subscribe and share the shorts on our Instagram. Spread the awareness because that's what we want to do here. As you can see, myself and Dos are big on men's mental health and mental health in general. So is Hicksy, but he unfortunately can't be with us today. So we do hope the boy is pumping some iron.
Throwing those weights around the gym, boy.
So, Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next week with a big guest.
Cannot wait.
We'll leave him with that one, eh?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.